Hi, Thomas. Hi, Jan.
Hey there. Hey, everybody.
I'm good. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Sharon. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Lori.
Hi. Hi, Jan.
I just realized I was muted. Hi. Talking to everybody and talking to and muted.
Sounds like you're unmuted now.
Yes, and excited for tonight.
On Zoom, but
So, welcome, and it's right at the top of the hour. I'm sure we'll have a few more people join us, but I like to start on time.
I've seen other people share their screen, but let's see, settings.
Who's having a challenge? Who needs help?
I was going to, do you have a copy of the form that you filled out?
Oh, excuse me. I've got something running in the background. Hold on. Let me see what's.
Share screen. Okay.
Goodness. Hold on.
Let's see if this is it.
Okay. Something that was in the background just wanted to start playing. I thought, who's talking on here? Okay. So I would love to hear everyone give a little short introduction if you'd like to. I can start. I am Sharon Burch, the CEO of LiberatedNurse.com, and I live in Lawrence, Kansas, which is outside of Kansas City, about 45 minutes. And what we do here on this call is share questions about our businesses, share challenges, invite input from others in the group, if there is any. I always like to give input, but sometimes other people have valuable things to share too. And we also open up for celebrations to acknowledge what we're learning and the progress we've made. So you're welcome to, participate verbally or just listen. There's equal value in that. So do what is right for you with that. And it's an hour-long session. It is recorded, and I will be putting it on YouTube on our channel. So if for any reason you want to be anonymous, just change your name on your screen or get off camera or whatever you want to do. It's, you have permission to take care of yourself, honor yourself, however is right for you. So I'd like to, I guess before I open up for introductions, I'd like to introduce Jan Walter. You can raise your hand, Jan. Jan is one of the coaches on the Liberated Nurse Business Incubator team. And so, Jan, maybe you could start with your introduction first, just real short. What do you do?
I'm a nurse coach, and one of the major part of my business has become financial coaching, because I've really seen that as a great need, and I've ended up going through Dave Ramsey's program, but wasn't really putting that together. But as one of the many types of wellness, finances pretty much contribute to all of it. So I have majored in finances. I live in the Midwest on the Missouri side of Kansas City, and that's pretty much it for right now.
Great, thank you, Jan. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves like that? Your name, where you live, and if you have a business, what do you do?
I'll go ahead and introduce myself.
Great.
Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas. I am a newly certified coach, nurse coach, and soon to be health wellness board certified. Currently, I'm a travel nurse. I work in mental health. And I'm really at the very, very beginning stages of anything sort of entrepreneurial or business. That's a new world for me, but a lot of the things that I'm interested in, I think pair well with that sort of mindset. So I'm starting to pick up new skills and knowledge towards that goal. Yeah.
Great, great, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas. Thomas, where do you live right now? You said travel nursing. Where are you located?
Yeah, I'm working in Augusta, Maine.
And where are you originally from? What's home to you?
Well, I live in Colorado, but I'm a bit uprooted right now. Not sure exactly where I'll land next. It's kind of open, so.
Augusta,
And
Maine.
I'm from New York. Yeah.
All right. Nice Friday. But anyway, my name is Rosemary Shearer, and I'm a nurse coach. And I confess, since I like to do my best to be transparent, I've never sat down for the nurse coach exam, and for different reasons. It's not a reasonless excuse, but I'm getting back into seriously entertaining that idea. And I love, as I'm sure you all can relate, I'm just so passionate about nurse coaching. I think it's the next best thing since sliced bread. And it's just amazing. And I'm a new walking into entering the incubator program. And so that I'm excited about that. And yet it's feeling a bit overwhelmed, but it's exciting too. So I feel really blessed that I'm under the umbrella of Sharon, who has experience of being in business. And I must say, the beautiful takeaway of how she said to merge like the nurse practice at, our nurse practice and business together. That was an amazing gift to hear that the other day. So anyway, I'm glad to be here. And that's it for now.
Thank you,
Where are
Rosemary.
you from, Rosemary?
Oh, I live outside of Philadelphia, 15 miles southeast of Philadelphia in Media, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I'll go next. My name's Lori Woodford, and I graduated. I'm a nurse coach, and I graduated from the collective last May. So I have spent the last year trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. And I've like you, Thomas, the whole entrepreneurship thing to me is very uncomfortable. It's just, and I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's new. It's very new and it's very raw to me. So I feel very definitely out of my comfort zone as far as setting up things. And I did sit for the board certification shortly after I finished and passed that. And so I've done some different things in the last year. I immediately got partnered in with I live probably about 50 miles east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. And so I got partnered with a counseling office here in my area. I was real good friends with the owner of the counseling office. And she said, look, why don't you just come in? You can set your own hours. You can work virtually, work in person if you want, but it'll get you a good way. It's a good way to get you in and get some practice until you kind of figure out what you want to do. And so I did that for about 8 or 9 months. And I saw a few clients that way. I realized that the way that practice was set up is not the way I want to run mine. And so we just agreed to just refer each other, clients, and that's what we've done. But I'm no longer under her umbrella other than just being referred to. And then on Facebook, I met Jan through a simple comment, and somebody was asking, what mentoring programs were out there after graduation. And that the Nurse Incubator, I think, was the first, and I don't even actually know that it was the Nurse Incubator that you had tagged in it as much as it was the Liberated Nurse. And I recognized that name because I had connected with Sharon a few months ago. This is the first time I've been able to attend a live session with y'all. I've been watching some of the virtual workshops and things that you've had. So I've already felt kind of connected behind the scenes. But it was so refreshing to see that that you were referenced there. And so I immediately reached out to Jan, and I'm like, I would love to pick your brain. And I also went through the Dave Ramsey financial coach piece as well, because I've seen that parallels and is such a huge part of our health, right? And so Jan and I had a lot in common and had a really good conversation one morning, and then she invited me here to be here as part of this group. So that was a long introduction. I apologize.
But it was a good one.
Yeah, good one. Thanks for that. And it's really nice to meet you, Lori.
Yeah.
Great. So Teresa, I think you're the only one that hasn't. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, sorry I was late. I'm Teresa Walding. I've been a nurse 30 years. I've been an entrepreneur for 8. Sharon and I have known each other probably that long, at least.
Something like that, yeah.
And, I appreciate what you said about the entrepreneur journey. I wish Sharon existed way back when. I tell her that all the time. Because the foundation piece of business from 0 to 1 is the most important one. Because we all want to go, oh, we're over here scaling and making money, and now we're into marketing, and that's the first thing we think we need to do, and it's not. So that's when I guess Sharon and I talked about, I came on board here to coach with her a year ago, and just the growth is phenomenal. The support, the people, the learning, the foundation, the how to keep your nursing license safe is huge. And so anyway, things are going well. And
Do you want to say, oh, go ahead.
I just said I found my footing. Say what?
Thank you. And I wonder if you'd like to say what your business is.
Oh, Advancing Nurse Coaching. Lynn McCray and I teach nurses how to coach from what we call a 3 principles perspective, but it's really how life works. And it's a framework that we use that I went to a conference. I'll back up a little bit. 5 years of chronic pain.
Keep it short.
I will. 5 years of chronic pain, found out that it was my thinking doing it, and healed in the conference. And I went, nope, that's what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And I thought, wow. So that's what we teach, and I'm expanding out to do some other exciting, fun things that I'll be announcing pretty soon. That's it.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Teresa is also a coach in the incubator program. So, okay, who has a question, a challenge, a celebration that they'd like to bring forward, share with the group?
I have something, hopefully maybe some of you can relate to this. When I coach, I wear my nurse coach hat, and like yourselves, I'm just going to go ahead and assume. I mean, I take it very seriously. So I dive into the, deep thinking, deep listening and so forth. And, it's myself and the client. But interestingly, when I'm outside, when I don't have my hat on, so to speak, I tend to forget about those skills. And I think about that. It's like, why do they not like transfer over like you would think they would so easily? And today I had a mini experience of, it was a 3-way call that I set up between my dental insurance and my dentist office. And there was this it was, they say versus it was two different sides of the story. It's like, I'm in the quandary, like, who am I supposed to believe? So anyway, it was so reassuring that without thinking about nurse coaching, the fact that I was, managing in a sense this meeting to keep things at peace and to make sure everyone was heard. And it was just amazing. And normally, like many years ago, I'd be like, oh, and I just maintained a calm despite the fact that the end result wasn't necessarily what I was hoping for, but yet it was just it just was so smooth. And I realized like maybe that was a taste of transferring my nurse coaching skills to other avenues, other arenas. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because you may have some stories yourself or think about that issue yourself. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Rosemary. That's an important insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a good fertile ground for practice, I think, for most of us to close the gap between, use our skills in all parts of our lives. Our coaching skills.
Yeah.
I did, so I'm still in the hospital setting and I work full time. I have many hats there and one of them is a nurse coaching hat, but I do that I might do that maybe 6 hours of the week, of the 40-hour week. So I'm working with various leaders in our hospital setting and working with them some leadership dynamics within their team. I love doing it. It's not what I want to do for the next 20 years. I'm just really just staying there until I can get my business off the ground and running. But I fell into the trap that I coach against this week or last week. And I guess it's because I've been out for a year now and I don't know, other than a couple of people that were in my cohort, I don't really know what people are doing, but I do know that the people that graduated before me appear on social media to have these big, huge, thriving businesses. And I'm sitting there second guessing myself, like, what am I doing wrong? And so against my better judgment, I went out and posted, that whatever that coming out part, that post that they tell you to do, right? And I did that. It was the most awkward thing I have ever done. I hate drawing attention to myself. I hate pushy salespeople. And that to me got in my head mentally. And I'm just like, I don't like this. This just feels gross to me. That's not who I am. And it validated why I haven't done that. And I think I've just been it made me do a lot of self-reflection on, even though that might be what the majority of people are doing, I had to sit there and resonate with what I had told my daughter, who gets caught up in social media, get off, because what you're seeing is what people want you to think their life is really like. That's really not what's going on behind closed doors. So get that out of your head. And yet I fell into it myself.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Lori. That's really interesting. And I know you're not the only one that's experienced that. You have to ask yourself, well, if these people are really that successful and having such a thriving business, why are they even messing around on the social media? I always wonder about that. So, but what do you think? So that you're clear on what you don't want to do. What is your intuition or your body or your heart? You know, what is calling you that you would like to do?
So I am not, I am more closer to the retirement end of my career. And I am not looking to, go in and land massive contracts with corporations, or that's not my end game. My end game is truly to do what I went into this program to do, and that is to really just make a difference. My what I focus on has like shifted a little bit, and I learned, I think, just like we do when we're going to clinicals for the first time, you learn what you really like to do in nursing and what you really doesn't,
Yeah.
what you don't like to do. And so I'm finding my way in that. I had no idea that I would be as passionate about leadership coaching as I've become. But I've been in leadership for, gosh, probably 15 years now. And so it's just it's just natural conversations that I have with people. And so I've really enjoyed that piece. But I don't know that, that's where I want to end. I really love, working with people around chronic disease. And there is such a need for that. And so that seems to be like continuously coming up for me. So I don't know. I am not the person that is going to get on and do these reels and these videos about how I just can't do it. It's just not in me. I would much prefer to have a much smaller business and be really referred to by word of mouth, because people truly, it's not that they've heard of me, but they've worked with me, and can truly, attest to the results they got or how they felt. That's really what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great, Lori. Well, you're in luck, because that's the low-hanging fruit, for starting a business. That's the best way to start, honestly, is to be yourself. In fact, even be more yourself than you have been before in other roles, and connect with the people and people who already know you, and then through them reach the people that they know too. And that's usually enough to get a few clients and serve them well, and then have them start talking to others and let it grow organically. It's a very good way to do things. And learning as you go, of course, that's equally as important.
Yeah.
And it's also fine to test several different niches at the beginning. It's a mistake to claim one and lock into it too early, because like you said, just like in nursing, when we first start, we don't really know what specialties will fit for us until we've done them. Right. So, yeah, I think I'd say trust your instincts, be yourself, and know that you can do it that way.
Yeah.
Sharon, tell them about when you started your one business and you started doing it and you're like, oh, hold on a minute. Because I think that's just as important as thinking you like something and then doing it.
Yeah, I really learned that lesson the hard way. I'd had a business doing massage therapy. I'd co-owned a massage therapy practice, and it was fine. But it didn't take me long to feel bored doing just massage all the time. What I really enjoyed was setting up the scheduling systems and the marketing systems. It turns out I'm more of a systems person than spending all that, really close personal time and attention with one person at a time. So that was one type of awakening that I had about myself. I didn't know that until I had the opportunity to have a contrast of different activities in business. And then coming out of that, I finished my master's and opened a practice. I was a solo entrepreneur, but in a group practice of massage therapists. And I had an acupuncturist in the group and so on. And I was doing health coaching and recommending herbs and nutritional approaches to managing chronic illnesses. That was my main focus at that time. And that led to me taking a job as a contractor to teach pathology for a couple of massage therapy schools. And that was okay, but there were no textbooks. So I decided to write the textbook. And that led to, I'd already been doing live CE courses, and so that led to starting to do home study CE courses with the book. Anyway, what I discovered was I saw that I had gotten into that because it seemed like a great opportunity. It just kind of opened itself up, and I saw the need, and so I did it. But what I discovered was I really didn't like that work. I didn't like just sitting at the computer all the time and writing courses. And I didn't even like where the massage therapy profession was going at that time. This was in the early 2000s, I guess. And it was all about trying to get the most money you can from your massage practice and making it very elite. And that just wasn't me. I wanted to see everybody learning to do massage, families, kids, everybody, and having it being very open to everybody. So anyway, philosophically, it wasn't good for me. And I wound up really burning out on that job, on that business, even though it was making money. What happened was I became a boss of myself, or an employee of myself, and was very unhappy. And so finally sold that business to get myself my freedom back, because I was working because I wanted freedom and I wanted joy. And so you really, even to have your own business, it's important that we watch the choices we make and the opportunities we say yes to, and check in with ourselves. Is this something that will bring me joy and really fit for who I am? And we can't always know that ahead of time if we've not done something before. So it's okay to take, that's why I recommend, rather than taking giant leaps off a cliff, to take small, low risk steps to test. Does this feel right? Am I going in the right direction? And so on. Because it's much easier to pivot and change directions if we do that.
I think I've learned that when it makes your heart sing, it's not like work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is my measure. If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing that. Now, that doesn't mean I can't do hard things, or the thing that's uncomfortable, but the day to day, I think, like most of us, didn't go into coaching to do a job that we didn't really want to do.
Yeah.
And don't, I think that one that you just said about creating a job for yourself, that mind shift is very, very particular, in that we're so used to it. Sometimes we fall into the job part of it, and we don't honor why we actually went into business for ourselves. And that's a big shift.
Teresa, how much of your work time or business time I know it will fluctuate, but give us a range, like from week to week? How much time is in the joy and enjoyment? How much time is in, okay, well, this just needs to be done?
Okay, so I have a problem.
Because, to me, that's real, right? That
it's very real.
It's not all just joy and, strawberries and ice cream.
No, it's not. And there's a very strange thing that happens as you begin this journey. You find out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out some patterns that you have that you didn't know you had. And so for a few months, I was falling into that old pattern of Friday would come and I'm just so exhausted. Life, I just want to sleep. So I was wasting my weekends, even though I had them off. I was up here, like thinking about all the things I should be doing and not doing it. And one day I went, why are you doing that to yourself? So that's when things shifted. And so some weeks I probably do 10 to 20 hours, some weeks more, depending on what I'm working on. But if I get tired or I don't feel like doing something or it's really hard, I give myself a break and I go do something I want to do. That's the beauty of being able to be the creator. While I have timelines, I give myself grace and flexibility. And that took me a while to learn.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I'd like to mention maybe a little micro success of mine, and then also ask the group a question. So I have a really a real pressing need to communicate, and so I've been asking myself how I can do that, and so one idea I have is, well, one thing that I'm creating is what could be like a meditation mastery course, and the pitch is something like 7 days to deep state stillness or something like that. And so I sat down one night and created an outline, basically a script for guided meditation. And boom, I mean, it just came out, one huge, nice, creative piece of work. And I tapping into, over a decade of experience. It was just waiting and incubating for so many years. And so it just came out, and it just so happens that now I have the possibility of actually bringing it to others or into life because of where I'm directing my career and what's next for me. So there's a very happy convergence now of what I imagine myself doing and actually being in a place where I might be able to actually step into that. And the reason I mentioned the communication is that really the deeper like meaning or value in it for me is, it's not necessarily like, well, I'm going to teach you how to meditate. It's more like, I need to communicate something. I need to facilitate something. I need to have some satisfaction, some feedback that, because that's something I really like to do. And so what I'd like to kind of maybe poll, since I have.
Excuse me,
Yes.
do you mind
Uh-huh.
if I just time out? Because before you shift into you wanting, to go into your question and so on, I would just like to acknowledge what you just shared with us. I think you prefaced it as a little celebration or a little accomplishment. And it's really, even though it came without a lot of effort in the moment, it does come from your years of experience, right? And being present with the process. And sitting with all the levels and layers that came up, and so hooray, just like that is I just want to smile and have some confetti around that.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sharon. Let's do it. Yay.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and I can definitely feel that it's sort of, yeah, it's I can feel there's a lot of energy and momentum there, you know. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful thing to experience too, when something is born that is so, I don't want to say matured, because it's yet to mature, it's going to take other levels, but it's so fully gestated. It's so beautiful in its form, having come together. And I'm really happy for you that you had that experience with it. And now that you have, it's a gift to share. And my words fail me, but I know it will evolve, but still right now it sounds like it's pretty complete for its developmental stage where it is now. It came in and it's complete
Yeah.
in this time. So
I would
Right.
say that was your spiritual intentional self, that you were able to just sit down in that moment at the time it came out, when it was supposed to come out,
Are you saying like it was ripe and the time was right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because, as we go through this journey, regardless of what our niche is or what we're doing with it, it's like there's constantly something brewing and growing, and you may not be able to put your hand on it or your finger on it or know exactly what you're supposed to do with it, but things come up at the time they're supposed to come up for whatever purpose it's supposed to be. I mean, that's my belief. So I just think that's what I thought of when you said that. You just sat down. It's not like you poured hours into like trying to figure out what to write or how to articulate, right? It just flowed.
Absolutely.
I'm really
That's
happy
awesome.
for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a long gestational process, and it's hard earned, especially with a backdrop for me, of real burnout and um, just feeling very stifled in my day-to-day job. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, if I could,
Yes.
what I would love is if I could give you just a very, very super brief, concise description, and then what I would love to know from each of you is, if you were on the receiving end of this offer, what would you most likely want to enroll in terms of the structure? In other words, once weekly or 7 days intensive, or length of time, and 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 also to some degree the basic content. So
Okay.
I'll put it to you this way: it's 7 days. It's an hour session. It's not incredibly long. It's skill building. It involves guided meditation, discussion, and a little bit of like um sort of like upfront sort of conceptual, kind of thing. But it's maximizing, it's experiential. It's jump right in. And of course, with caution as well. I mean, meditation is not for everybody at the right time. So it's with prudence and as well. But assuming, the person is a good fit and it's the right something they want to do. That's the basic idea. And the core takeaway is that the once you go through this sort of 7-step process, you will, let's just say, forever be anchored in a place of stillness or equanimity or peace. You'll have it at that. If you didn't have that, you'll be rooted in it. If you were working on that, you'll be even stronger, that. So that's like that's what you are going to get out of this. It's lifetime skill building in a method that let's just say, for lack of evidence, it works. Okay. So what I would love to know is what would is 7 days too much? Is what are the chances you're going to participate for an hour every single Friday? Or are you more likely to say, let's do an intensive, like week-long 1 hour every evening or something? I don't know.
So in your mind, it could be stretched out, or it could be all at once, or anything in between, hypothetically, until you test it.
Yeah, hypothetically, I think ideally what happens is it would be once weekly, 1 hour, and that gives a lot of time for extra practice, kind of the field work or homework component to whatever degree someone wants to do that, and integration. So that's probably ideal. Basically 7 weeks, once a week, with even a little follow-up, call or in between or something like that.
I like the idea of the follow-up, of getting the foundation. Or I have a question. Is it 7 completely different? Are you building, is it a foundation, then you add this and add this and add this? Or are there different, the word isn't courses, but are they different? Is it a building or I'm trying to think of the right word, where you have different things where a person could, let's say they're more interested in one type and they're not really interested in this. Would this be a foundation for everybody, and then you can add other things to your course? Or
The answer, yeah, great question. Thank you, Jan. The answer is actually it's designed for you to find your personal, unique way, right? And it does that by, so that is, but it does that by each session combining both building and also repetition. If you can imagine, many cues when they're repeated can strengthen can act as verbal cues. So there's repetition, but also there's a building, but it's always practiced around the idea that in the way that works for you. And that's really what the outcome is. It's not just necessarily about, well, I can always, I need to come back to this guided meditation. No, it's once you know what works, you will know what works forever, basically. That's kind of the pitch. Mm-hmm.
I think you're on the right track as far as like once a week for that integration piece. Just personally have done a few of those courses. I did one that was every day for 30 days. And I found myself skipping days, and then I was going back trying to catch up, and and sometimes a week, if something falls apart in the week, then you're like, oh, now I've missed a piece. But though every week you can kind of plan and look forward to it. And that integration, I think you're absolutely right. With the little contact in between if needed. That resonates with me.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. Yeah.
I would piggyback off that to say too, that for someone where this is brand new, if they've never meditated before, doing it at day after day after, that could be overwhelming, and it could be, I don't know, it could have a negative effect. If somebody's very brand new into that.
Yeah. I agree with Lori and Teresa in the sense that like once a week would be, for me, that would be minimum. And I hear in your language, you make reference to foundational and then building, and just that flexibility of adding increments if the person chooses to, but the baseline would be once a week. And it seems to be more doable for most people.
Mhm.
And it gives you
Easier
time
yeah.
to apply it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that time for that, right, in between, because isn't that the point, is to practice it daily? And
Yeah, I mean, there's the opportunity to practice, whether someone, however, to whatever degree someone is inspired to do. Yeah.
Do you have a name for your practice or for your this meditation series? Any names that are tickling your heart?
Well, I like the idea of I think I'm toying with that, and I don't have a great deal of experience in terms of, you know, w- pitching a service like this, but it does would seem to need to strike at it has to make sense to a lot of people. And I think meditation mastery makes sense to a lot of people. But I also want to include in there that this is supportive of an individualized, a very personal some thing as well. And so and that it's 7 days, and how cool is that? So there's kind of a mix of things. Yeah.
I think when you introduced it to us, you said something like 7 days to deep stillness.
Yeah, deep state stillness. Yeah.
Deep
Yeah.
space stillness. Is that
Deep
what you said?
deep state.
Deep state. That's right. Deep state stillness. Yeah, I really like that you reference the outcome that people will get right in the title. I think that makes it much stronger from a marketing standpoint. And even when I hear it, I think, it gives me a chance to imagine, oh, do I want that? Could I use that? Where would I use that? And then pretty much enroll myself or not, or say, no, I don't need that, because just right in the title, it's so clear what I'll get. Whereas if you just say meditation mastery, that could just mean so many different things. I love the idea of once a week for 7 weeks. And I would want to, so I can say I resonate enough with your offer that I might be interested. So this is a tip I would give all of us, is if we're seeking input on our business idea, it's fine to talk to just anybody, but the people you really want to listen to are the people who might be your audience. Okay, those are the ones that you want to value, and other people can give you input that's very true and authentic for themselves, but if they're not really your audience, then it can throw you off if you listen to their input. So I think I could be interested in this offer, and I would like to have a way that I could ask questions or share my experiences in between the weekly session when you're teaching me. And it could be just in writing in an online platform somewhere. But I wouldn't want to just be sending it to you, Thomas. I would want it to be in my peer group of the other people that were participating, so that we could reflect on whatever we're experiencing and see our commonalities and things. And yeah, that would be a value to me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I think also you mentioned something about having a follow-up. Yeah, I think I would enjoy meeting an 8th time. So you have the 7 different weeks and then meeting one more time to, yeah, see what loose ends there are or whatever, or just celebrate what we've learned,
Mhm.
have a closure. That's not nothing new. It's more digesting what we've received.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I can see that tying into, I mean, if you're open to it, to so many different other avenues too, with collaborating with other coaches, or, you know, with intertwined with retreats and that kind of thing. I mean, I think you have an option to really go as far as you want to go with it.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate that, Lori, and certainly, yeah, I that would be wonderful. I think that's where I need to be. Yeah. So, but just to hear you say that, reflect that back, about how to collaborate. I mean, that gets me excited for sure. I mean, it gets me excited about a lot of things. I'm working on my yoga teacher training and trying to build a little bit of a backbone, uh, as far as what I look like on paper to support and also support collaboration.
Mhm.
So thank you, yeah.
The other piece I want to question is, I don't, I'm assuming, but I don't hear any reference to like learning how to achieve deep state. And so for those who are, that might look, oh, that sounds interesting, but they have no idea. They're in square one, and yet just to entice the newbies, the people that need to learn how to do what you're going to teach them to do, or set up if you're going to be setting up the paradigm, to set up the platform so that they can learn how to get into a deep state, meditative state, but just to encourage them that it's learnable if they don't already know about it.
Right. Okay. So let me see if I get that. Kind of like giving a little bit of like a curriculum or a framework where someone can maybe see how it works, or
Is that
something
what you
like that.
meant? Is that something like what you meant, Rosemary?
Well, I don't know what it would look like, but just the fact that you're part of your package is to teach those that don't know how to meditate, but they've heard about it, they think about it, their friends meditate, and they have no idea where to start. So just to give them that segue into learning how to do it so that they can do it.
Well, what I love about this question is it raises a little bit of the pedagogical question about how you teach. And I think one of the things I really value is sort of that teach as you go. And also, and so rather than me packaging a lecture, it's me providing insight with the energy of the group in discussion as it comes up. And so there's a balance there, I think, to your point, Rosemary, which is what I think has a great deal of value. There's a balance between, not catching people completely sort of unprepared. So there's definitely some priming, I think, that has to be there. But it is largely something to dive into where it's direct experience, and I'm there to facilitate, less to teach, but my facilitation is rooted in experience, which you could call a form of teaching, So yeah.
What comes up for me when I hear Rosemary's input and ideas is that you might want to consider having a free, like a free hour that you offer for people to get a taste of what is to come. And you could give a handout that gives kind of the structure so that they know what that would be, if they sign up for the course, a little bit about that. You could, but mostly you would give them experience that would be appropriate for a beginner that maybe has never meditated. And also for those who have, it just lets them get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it could be of use to everybody as an introduction.
Yeah. And the other piece is, being that we are professional nurses, to tie in, somehow incorporate evidence-based data to support the benefits of meditation. And a lot of people don't know that. So that would be exciting.
Yes, and I appreciate that point. I think it's probably the component I'm probably weaker in terms of having it ready right now, but within a short period of time, like you're saying, Rosemary, I could easily kind of get the data and summarize it. And yeah, I agree. I think that has a lot of value for people. So that would be the value up front of each session. And it would be minimized, but it would be, part of the whole package,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah. And then also, Sharon, to also what you were just saying, I heard the chance to get to know you. That's yeah, I love that. Basically giving like a little, you would, if in that free session, you would basically get a feel for what the sessions would be like. You'd hear my voice. And then also, as I would give you basically a summary of the courses the class, the sessions to follow, and hopefully that would, entice you, to the next thing.
Yeah. It'd be your pink spoon, at the ice cream store.
Yep.
I love that concept, Sharon. That's good.
That's so funny you said that, Sharon. One of my coaches, when he starts it, he holds up his pink spoon because
wow.
it anchors whatever he's going to say next.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I love it.
I thought it was hilarious. And he's right, it does. But I guess one other little thing, since we're sort of talking about the package as a whole, have you thought about, or is it interesting to you to like continue the group after the course? The people who learn how to meditate together like to continue that practice, and it's really nice to find other people who do it and stay connected, because a lot of times it's like, okay, we're finished with the program, and then you're just, now what? Plus it opens the opportunity for them to buy from you again.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. I was only starting to think very roughly about what happens next. And I think, the most obvious thing was like, well, what's the, obviously if there are, I have not yet found my holistic coaching audience. There's the hope that this would help generate some of those people. And so, yeah, so I'll need to think about that. Thank you.
I can
Well,
just say that because
go
you're
ahead.
a man in this field, you're not going to have any trouble. I think it's an advantage for you to offer that perspective. I just think that it's very unique, and I like listening to you talk. And I think be yourself. But I think people are just going to resonate with that for you from the authenticity. So I just want you to hear that I feel that, I hear that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Teresa. I'm absorbing that. So thank you very
That's
much.
good.
I appreciate that.
And I just like to say, please let me know when you're ready to offer this. Okay. And I'd be happy to share it in my newsletters or in our Facebook group if you would like to do something like that.
Yeah, wonderful. Of course, I would. And yeah, I will let you know. I think I do have a barrier. I want to be mindful of time, which is that I have so much stress from my work. I may need to have get out of my work and do and recover before I'm in a place to do it properly, but we'll see what I can juggle, you know. But yes, I will certainly, I will let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know when I have a rough idea of when I will want to offer and dates and such. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
I'd like to comment on that, and this is for you and for everyone on the call. So I encourage you to consider doing it imperfectly the first time, to give yourself that a permission to do it as a pilot test, let everybody know it's a pilot test. And the advantage of that is that it gets it out there and you get to learn a whole bunch. And rather than holding back and trying to make it perfect before you share it. So, and that would go for all of you, you know, and anything, and any of you, if you have an offer that you're putting together, please let me know. If you think our business community would enjoy it, let me know and I'll be happy to promote it and share it with our community. Well, so I know we're at time. I do like to go around and see if people have a takeaway that they got from tonight. And what are your next steps? So Jan and Teresa and I won't do it because we're coaches. We're here holding space for you all. But the other three, please, someone speak up, share what you got from this tonight and what your next steps are.
I don't know what my next step is other than, you know, proceeding with the incubator program. But tonight it was just so beautiful to see everyone's transparency and just to take away that, you know, to be willing to do it imperfectly. That's beautiful. So I thank you.
I think for me, I really felt validated coming here tonight, and I'm so appreciative, Jan, of you sending the invitation and you know, mentioning it, because you know, going through that program, I really didn't know what I was getting into, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and I still really don't. But you know how you just go through things and certain things just don't feel right, and that's where I was at for a long time. And I thought, you know, I just thought I'm pretty convicted in my faith and what I believe in and the walk that I try to walk every day. And some things were just not aligning. And I started questioning myself and what I was doing, and was this the right path I wanted to go down? And so, you know, you can get so inundated with things being the only way. You've got to do this. If you want to promote yourself, you've got to do it this way. And so I really feel much more at peace after this session, and look forward to more. So thank you for holding space.
Wonderful.
I need to jump off, so I just want to say thank you to everybody. And this has been beautiful. So thank you for the space, Sharon. And
You're
nice to meet you, Thomas and Lori.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks.
Bye, Rosemary.
But
Well, I'll go
Laura's-
ahead and give my,
yeah,
oh, Jan.
Please go ahead,
I'll give
Thomas.
my takeaway. Well, I'm taking a lot away. This is exactly what I hoped for, and it's just been such a long time being alone in the desert, so to speak. So I'm just right now I'm just feeling a lot of appreciation, hope, momentum, and so my next step is to understand what it means when I stumble on momentum and how momentous momentum can be. So I I am in a seize the day type of mindset right now, and that's exactly where I need to be. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yay. Great. Great. All right. Well, we'll be here next month, the first Tuesday. And in between, feel free to send me emails if you have questions come up and things. I don't mind that. And I forgot to make my announcement. I am going to be offering a short workshop here starting in September, and if you read the newsletters I send out, you'll be learning more about that. And so I won't share any more than that because the newsletters will explain it all. Okay, so thank you. And I hope you go forth and keep yourself, honor your flow, Great. Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll stay in touch, Lori.
Okay, sounds good. Let me know when you get to Garland.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.